Hey, this is Matt Wenning at WenningStrength.com, and today we're going to go over the proper squat setup for beginners and intermediates. This is a great topic because I think a lot of people make mistakes here, and that really reduces the amount that you're going to be able to squat both now and in the future. So let's get to it and look at some key points. A general all-around setup to learning how to squat correctly is making sure that the bar is at the right height for you. Now in a monolift, it's really easy to adjust it to fractions of an inch. For some power racks, you're not gonna be able to do this perfect, but here we're gonna show you guys perfect. So if you look at where he's standing, the bar is right at the shoulder joint, okay? So it's pretty far below his neck and right at the shoulder joint. That's usually gonna give you enough clearance room to pick the weight up out of the bar. So let's see him get under the bar and just lift it out of the rack. So you'll see he'll set it up. Now he's gonna pick it up. He's clearing the rack by about 3 inches, 4 inches. That's about perfect, okay? All right, set it back down. So if you guys have a question on that, obviously this bar would be a little too low for me. This is at chest level, right? So I want it actually higher. So Harvey's gonna go over and adjust it to my height. There, you notice he's on the exact same spot he was in, I'm in now. So if you put it right at your shoulders and you can still see about 2 inches of shoulder joint over the top, you're probably at about right. So it should touch the upper chest and about 1.5 inches from your neck. The next big thing you have to do is get your hands correct, okay? So if we look at these different marks, we have, right, the collar, we have this little circle on this line, and we have this right where the knurling starts and meets the smooth. Now our goal is to get our spine right in the middle of this bar, and this first start to that is to make sure that our hands are even on wherever we decide to put them. I was always a very wide hand position squatter because my pecs were really tight, and I was a big bencher. So that's a big issue, right? So for him, he's a lot more flexible. He can put his hands in a lot closer. So the key is getting your hands exactly in the same position on both the left and the right. So let's see where Harvey puts his hands. So Harvey selected his ring finger on the ring. Okay, so his ring finger's on the ring on both sides. Now, in the back of here, he's absolutely perfect. So let's take a look at the back. So as you can see, because his ring finger is on the ring on both sides, look at where he set up the bar. It's absolutely symmetrical and perfect. So if you have a handoff, right, so let's say he takes his hand here and he's got 1 inch farther here and 1 inch farther there. Now when he sets up on the bar, he's gonna be 1 inch off on his spine. See? So the hands set where the bar is gonna be, if that makes sense. So if we move him back to where he was, if we look now, he's in the exact perfect spot without even looking or seeing behind him. So setting the hands equal is a big portion of getting this correct in the middle. So the first thing you guys are gonna see when you're first starting, or maybe intermediate if you're not around experienced guys, is you're gonna see a lot of people are comfortable here with the high bar. That's basically the bar on your neck or above the trap. In an ideal world, if you have enough rear delt muscle, you should honestly set the bar right below the trap and above the rear delt. This is what holds the bar from sliding down your back. If you're all the way up on your traps, you're increasing the distance or the length of your spine, making your leverages worse. So the further down, obviously there's a tipping point, but the further down you can carry this bar, the better leverages you have to squat. That means that we're gonna have to work on something else, and that's next. One of the big muscles that I don't hear talked about a lot when squatting is the rotator cuffs. If you get those loose and hot, that'll actually help you get in a good position with the squat bar. So let's see how to do it. He's gonna roll it all the way back till it touches the back, and he's gonna roll all the way forward till it touches the forward. Now if he does this for, I don't know, a minute, minute and a half before he squats, his rotator cuffs are gonna get warmer, they're gonna get more pliable and more flexible and be less pain under a straight bar. This becomes one of the limiting factors when you start creating a lot of mileage, and also why I think you can't squat with a straight bar constantly. You're gonna cause a lot of problems with his shoulder being pinched back that hard. But warming this up in this particular fashion will help alleviate a lot of your shoulder issues. The next one we're gonna do is just a normal pec stretch inside of a squat rack. So as you can see, he's gonna lean into that and be slightly painful. We're trying to stretch all this out to where when we get under the straight bar, we can actually comfortably carry the bar a little bit lower. For some people, this isn't an issue, but if you're a power lifter or you like training a lot of upper body like everybody does at Lifetime Fitness, then this area is gonna be really tight and really messed up. We gotta stretch all this out. I'm not bullshitting you that when my bench got over 600 pounds, I had to do this for 15 minutes before I squatted with a straight bar for the last 10 years. And a lot of it was because my pecs got so strong and so big. Now, how long to hold that stretch? Minute and a half, and you want to do it probably 3 times before you actually squat. Okay, so we've got the hand placement down, right? We've got the bar placement on his back down. We've warmed up the rotator cuffs and stretched the pecs to get the proper bar placement and not have it be so painful. And that also helps keep the sternum up. But now we're gonna do probably one of the most important things. What he's gonna do is he's not gonna take huge steps to take it out of a rack or a monolift. He's gonna lift it up. He's gonna take heel to toe step, which means half of his foot. Now he's gonna take the other half of his foot and line it up. Now he's gonna find his width. Good. Now he's ready to go. So what we're gonna do is, and one of the biggest problems is he's gotta have his eyes a little bit above. So a lot of this new shit coming out is people are squatting like this. All that's doing is dropping your sternum. So if we raise his eyes to a slightly above neutral position, when he goes into squat, he's not gonna round here. Squat. Good. And rack. So a lot of times when you're squatting, eye position can hold sternum position. And when you get stronger, if you're a beginner or intermediate, when you get stronger, being able to hold your chest up is probably the most important thing that you can do to making sure that you can achieve that squat. Once your head's down, for most people, the chest is gonna go down, and that means your butt's gonna shoot up first out of the hole, and you're gonna have a big issue. So in closing, we went over how to set up the squat. Obviously, we didn't do too many squats, but I think this is huge. We gotta have the hand placement right. We gotta have the shoulders flexible enough to get in the right bar position. We gotta make sure that the bar is equal and even on both sides of the back. And then we have to make sure that our sternum stays high. And the way to do that in the beginning and intermediate phases is to have your eyes a little bit above neutral, and that forces the chest to stay high. If you look at me from the side, if I'm looking a little bit up as I'm going down, this is gonna stay up. If I'm already looking down, my body is gonna do this on the way down. Therefore, I'm gonna lose a lot of power, and I'm probably not gonna stand up with monster weights, or at very least, it's gonna look terrible. So I'm glad you watched this video. If you need more information, join the Patreon channel or look up the other videos we have on squatting. Squatting 101, 201, and 301 will actually go over what to do after the setup is correct.